You're watching DC News Now at 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tasmin Mahfouz.
And I'm Chris Flanagan. Breaking right now at 9, a massive manhunt underway for a murder suspect who escaped from George Washington University Hospital today. So take a good look at your screen. This is Christopher Haynes, a 31-year-old wanted for murder. He was last seen here in white socks, a black t-shirt, and gray shorts. Handcuffs hanging from his right wrist.
Yeah, so it's been an all-hands-on-deck search for more than 5 hours now. DC police released this photo of Haynes just after his escape at 3:30 in the afternoon. Investigators say he escaped custody at GW Hospital. That's on New Hampshire Avenue and 23rd Street in Foggy Bottom. He had been arrested on homicide charges just today. And we have team coverage tonight as a search presses on into the night. Marielle Carbone is standing by with community reaction.
But first, our Daniel Hamburg has the latest details on the search. And Daniel, a shelter-in-place order was just lifted for GW students.
Yeah, Chris and Tasmin, those students down for several hours. The scene right now is pretty quiet out here. We can tell you there were students milling about all afternoon. I talked with one student who just got out of class about 10 minutes after this man escaped. Now, I can tell you, of course, he escaped from this side of the 23rd Street and presumably made his way to 24th Street over this way. That's where police had their command post set up. They broke that down about a while ago, but they said continue searching. I asked exactly where, and police say. Now, police had the adjacent streets here locked down for hours. Initially, they said that Haynes escaped wearing a black t-shirt and gray shorts under a white bodysuit with one red shoe. Now, we saw police recover a red shoe on 24th Street around 6:30, though they wouldn't say if it was the other shoe. Police had helicopters in the air and guns drawn on the ground, searching from Foggy Bottom to Georgetown, all the way to the bridge. No results. Again, shutting that command post down about an hour ago. Secret Service is also involved in this search. They say that the area around the White House is locked down and they have extra units over there just as a precautionary measure. There are a lot of other federal agencies assisting DC police with this. As of an hour and a half ago, DC police said that they wouldn't be giving us an on-camera press briefing tonight, but again, they are continuing their search. We're live in Foggy Bottom. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Daniel, thank you. So we're going to keep showing you Christopher Haynes' photos. If you see this man, do not approach him. Call 911.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in now to 9, Haynes was arrested earlier today on murder charges. He escaped GW Hospital in Foggy Bottom. He's been on the run since 3:30 this afternoon. So the photo here on your right, that is the last known photo of Haynes. You can see he's wearing white socks, a black t-shirt, and gray shorts with handcuffs that are hanging from his right wrist.
And give his face a good look. Pay close attention to his neck tattoos, especially that Washington Nationals logo in the center of his neck. So continue our team coverage now. That escaped suspect, obviously putting the community on edge.
That's right. Our Marielle Carbone is near the Key Bridge in Georgetown, where armed officers were seen looking for Haynes earlier today, Marielle.
Yeah, that's right. We know at least one Secret Service vehicle and 2 officers that were armed with rifles were at the beginning of the Key Bridge. Of course, the bridge here takes you out of DC and over into Virginia and also connects you to some major roadways like the GW Parkway and even the interstate. So an important area for police to be in that initial part of this search earlier this afternoon. Now, as of now, we're not seeing the officers actually camped out at the start of the bridge anymore, but we are still hearing helicopters go over this area. Take a look. The video you're seeing right now, it is from those officers that were out here earlier. And we do know police, they're still searching the area for Haynes. Patrols in various neighborhoods. The sheer presence of law enforcement, they shut down roads. It really impacted people around GW's campus today. We saw some people being escorted to their homes that were behind the crime scene tape by police officers, others redirected out of the area entirely. And of course, the university, it sent out that shelter in place alert to students. We talked to a lot of students, some taking that advice, while others told me after a few hours of waiting in a classroom or a building, they simply had to leave to go home. The reaction to all of this happening, it really varied by who we spoke to.
A little nervous, kind of like watching over my shoulder, my back. But I'm not too worried about it.
It's so common for someone dangerous to be out and about DC.
I guess it's just important to look out for one another in situations like this. And it's scary, and I didn't like that my initial reaction was that we were all going to be gunned down.
Now, GW officially lifted its shelter-in-place order at 8:15, but the university is still advising students to be cautious as they're moving around the area. And Chris and Tasmin, you guys mentioned it already. Police are saying that if you see something, say something. So if you spot Haynes out somewhere, you are asked to call 911. Reporting live in Georgetown tonight, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
Marielle, thank you. And as you heard right there, still an active search right now. We will have continuing coverage on the story later tonight at 10 on DCW 50 and online at DCNewsNow.com. Make sure you can also join us in the morning at WDVM starting at 5 a.m.
All right, but right now we want to get check on your forecast on this DMV First Warn Day.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Jessa Webb joining us now. And as we saw some new broken heat records around the DMV, tomorrow could be another hot day.
Yeah, it's going to continue. I mean, this has been very consecutive day by day, and that heat's not going to be broken down just yet. We have a cold front that's going to quickly approach, but it's going to be a similar situation of what we saw this afternoon with many spots touching 100 degrees. Here's some of the numbers for Dallas and Baltimore. You showed out this afternoon 100 triple-digit temperatures. This is the warmest day of the year. DCA not as hot as those two locations, but the upper 90s, just a few ticks downward, but really much of the same is in store. And even tonight, we're going to beat some records for overnight lows. I mean, many spots still going to be hovering into the 80s. Our city looks lovely at this point. We're sitting under partly cloudy skies. Temperatures each about 15 minutes, they continue to go down. So they want to go down pretty quickly here. The winds coming out of the southeast at about 7 to 10 miles per hour. That's helping things. 87 across the suburbs of DC, and the mugginess. It is definitely noticeable now. We have a tropical air mass that is sitting in place across the region. It is a little bit cooler from Woodstock into Winchester, but really this is going to stay in place going into your Thursday as well. Partly cloudy conditions. You can see by 3 a.m. we're back into the middle 70s. We do have a few storms in the forecast for your Thursday. We'll time them out in a minute.
All right, Janessa is still ahead tonight. The heat, a major concern in Maryland, where drought watch remains in effect for parts of the state. Ahead all new at 9:25, the Water Conservation Advisory in Frederick.
And all new details tonight. Prince George's County Police will launch an internal investigation into a viral video showing a uniformed officer and a woman kissing in the parking lot of a park in Oxon Hill. So it's this video that's been making rounds on social media. The now suspended officer, Corporal Francesco Marlette, seen going into the backseat of his cruiser with the woman after embracing her. Now, we spoke to Marlette's wife earlier today, who says this woman is her husband's mistress. And according to a source, Marlette has been suspended before for alleged child abuse and domestic violence charges, but in both cases was cleared. Now, police confirmed to us the child abuse charges and say at this time Marlette was internally disciplined, but that the allegations were deemed unfounded. Marlette's wife tells us despite the negative attention she's received over this video, she will stand by her husband.
All right, in Virginia, more than a year after a car crashed into an Arlington Irish pub, customers are finally raising a glass, as you can see here. Certainly a lot to toast tonight after that crash left the bar in shambles. DC News Now reporter Max Marcilla covers Northern Virginia for us, and he reports from Ireland's Four Courts.
It was an unforgettable day, captured by the sounds of police radios and ambulance doors slamming shut. Several people were injured after a car slammed into a popular Arlington Irish pub last August.
We're gonna pour some Guinness.
But the sounds of joy are filling the pub tonight.
I'd like just to raise a glass.
It's a celebration 13 months in the making.
It's a new day, it's a new chapter, and onwards and upwards.
Today, Ireland's Four Courts back doing what it does best, hosting friends and family, pouring drinks, and serving food.
When you walk into a restaurant like this one, you're expected to be greeted with a smile. If you're a first responder, you'll be greeted with more than that. These plaques now on the wall forever, a thank you to those people that everyone here says saved lives that day.
And today, those who served their community in the most heroic way 13 months ago were served by those they saved. Arlington Police and Fire welcomed back with open arms and full glasses.
Tonight is a small gesture. It's a small token from us to them, just to say thank you.
The regulars are excited to be back.
Arsenal for life. Okay. Come on, you good.
But few people are more excited than the employees.
I had to pinch myself a couple of times. I've been doing so for the last couple of days.
It's been a long road for Mary Riley.
Just pure panic. Just pure panic.
She was injured last year. She's doing better and is back at work tonight and couldn't be more grateful.
From the kitchen staff to the bartenders to the servers to the regulars that walk by. I mean, this is a family bar.
It's an extremely happy day for us.
In Arlington, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Max, thank you. And right now, business owners at a College Park shopping center near University of Maryland have less than a month to pack up their stores and leave. Yeah, the new shopping center owners plan to build new student housing there, but many of the store owners say they have nowhere to go. Prince George's County reporter Yamari Sase spoke to businesses and customers about their frustrations.
Several businesses here at Campus Village Shops now have less than 30 days to pack up and leave, and they're frustrated because they weren't given enough time to do so, and many of them can't even find a new location.
And a lot of crying, no business now.
College Park Liquors has been at Campus Village Shops for more than 30 years. But like many other businesses, on August 1st, they received a 60-day notice saying their leases will end on September 30th.
We were pretty sad.
The shopping center's new owner plans to build housing for University of Maryland students. Businesses knew about the redevelopment, but tell me, the quick turnaround was a shock.
We still have a couple more years on our lease because of loopholes within the law. The little gray areas, you're going to go through there and have us lose so much money, but also sacrifice and reposition ourselves within the community. It's very hard.
Box Kitchen opened just a year ago. The owner says he wished he knew about the changes before signing a lease.
We just lose. I spent $310,000 to build this. It's a shame that we have to just be forced out this way.
And while the change is to open new student housing, some students say they're not too happy about the shopping center closing.
To remove so many things that are so important to the area in terms of culturally, just being a student here is kind of ridiculous and upsetting.
Vape Exchange has been here for nearly a decade, and now finding a new place is hard since no liquor stores or tobacco shops can be under student buildings.
Honestly, if they would stay to the original contract that they gave us, to the year, that would have been awesome. We could plan out better.
Support us so we could find a new place and we built.
Now, we did reach out to the new shopping center owners, but did not get a response back just yet. And as for the city of College Park, they say they're hoping that these businesses can remain in the city. For now, reporting in College Park, Maryland, I'm Yamari Sase, DC News Now.
Yamari, thank you. And also tonight, Virginians might be able to take advantage of tax-free shopping this year after all. It's one of the many changes the Virginia General Assembly approved in its budget deal today. Now, under the agreement, the sales tax holiday would be the weekend of October 20th all the way through the 22nd. And next year, the holiday would go back to the first weekend of August. And Virginia lawmakers overwhelmingly passed the budget deal after months and months of negotiations. The changes also include one-time tax rebates, pay raises for teachers and state employees, and funding for public schools and mental health programs.
It's a win-win for everybody. And to be quite honest with you, it's good for the state of Virginia.
Yeah, that bill now heads to Governor Glenn Youngkin's desk. He can choose to either sign it as is or make amendments.
And in Maryland, Montgomery County residents, a heads up before you hit the liquor store. Liquor, wine, and Oak Barrel and Vine stores are getting a new payment system. So to give crews time to install them, each store will be closing for one full day. The first store closure will be at the Darnestown Liquor Wine location this Sunday. Up to 3 stores will be closed at a time through early October. Now, to see when each store is closing, head to DCNewsNow.com.